Bit crazy this video. Things may be a little bit out of sequence. So I'm just going to do a quick review, sort of, you know, just I've just recently bought the Pumaspeed MK7 Fiesta ST180 front brake upgrade kit, which is basically just replacing the 280mm discs for a 302mm disc. With a variety of different, well, you can get J-hook at the minute. They're selling J-hook discs or plain at the minute. Be nice if they expand that to a few different styles. I would have probably preferred grooved to match my rears. Anyway, and it also comes with a like an uprated caliper, so the caliper is slightly modified compared to the standard. Basically just allows you to utilise the bigger disc. I'll show that along the way in the video, comparing the OEM caliper to the Pumaspeed caliper. And yes, so the video is probably going to be spliced here and there. I've sort of been doing this. It's a bit of a last minute emergency, to be honest. I'm moving house literally in a week, well, in less than a week, and my current brake calipers have decided to you know, give up the ghost. So the 6-pot, I'm running a set of Mountune 6-pot calipers that they released about 5 years ago. I've had nothing but problems with them, really, the calipers. One of the main reasons I'm changing them is because you can't get the pads anymore. So the caliper's pretty much redundant, really. I can't get the pads because the pads were bespoke. The pads were completely bespoke for that caliper. So it's not even like other companies make the brake pads, you know what I mean? So yeah. So and then the other thing as well is the one of the pistons has started leaking brake fluid. Because I tried to basically just do a quick test to see if all the pistons were coming out evenly. It ended up looking like a game of whack-a-mole. Those all just coming out at different, you know, different times. It's a bit of a long story, to be honest. It kind of goes back a while. So I've just sort of decided I'm just going to change them. I'm just going to change these calipers. These are the ones I've just taken off. These are the Mountune 6-pots. I mean, they're in a bit of a state anyway. These need refurbing. All the white lettering's gone in the Mountune. Yeah, they're just looking a bit tired now. If I can source a rebuild kit and some pads, I'll probably try to reinstate them, because these are really light. The pads and the calipers and the actual discs are really light compared to the cast caliper. And a normal disc. But anyway, right, so I'll probably jump in. The video's probably going to jump in at some random point. I've sort of been splicing here, there, and trying to do things. This is the problem. I'm moving house at the minute, so I thought I'd just do one last video in this house, and then when I get set up in my new house, I'll continue there. But yeah, so if there's no continuity, in the video, it's just the way I've been doing things here and there. But anyway, enjoy the video. I'll try and point out little tips if you're wanting to install this yourself. So yeah, enjoy. See you later. Right, so I'm just showing here what you get in the kit, and as you can see, you've got your carriers and your brake discs. One thing to point out, yeah, just showing you my boxes everywhere, a bit crazy, chaotic with the move. Yes, so you don't get in the kit the actual shims that hold the brake pads in, you know, where the pads slide. You will have to provide your own or reuse your old ones. I ended up just cleaning my old ones up, got a Dremel and polishing pad, just polished them back up, cleaned them, came out really nice. You do get the sliders, which I'm pointing to there. I just gave those little painted them up just to protect them from rust, because they do rust and it just ruins the look of the, you know, you've reconditioned everything and you don't want rusty sliders, so they got painted. Yeah, the other modification I made as well, I painted the carriers in Ford Race Red, which was a heat resistant paint, you know, high temp paint. And the reason for that was because I reconditioned my rear calipers a couple of years ago, and the only colour I could find that was closest to the OEM red was Ford Race Red. So, you know, just for continuity's sake and my OCD, I painted the carriers and the calipers on the front red in the Race Red, just to match, so everything looks all good. I also painted the brake discs in silver, in a heat silver and in a heat lacquer as well, which well, they don't come that colour. They will be black. The discs are all black from Pumaspeed. Yeah, so I'm just showing there. That's the I opted in for the yellow stuff brake pads. You don't actually have to buy any pads that Pumaspeed provide. So if you want your own type or your particular brand, you can do that. So you don't have to, you know, you don't have to include brake pads with the purchase or braided lines or anything like that, and that will reduce the price in total. You do get two choices. I think I've already mentioned this. You do get two choices of C-hook discs or plain discs. Right, I think that's about it. I will just cut into a little montage now of me painting the discs and calipers and things, and yeah. Ugh. This is the get you in. Bloody hell! Right, that's the new carrier from Pumaspeed, and I've got an original Ford caliper. This is the one. This is the one from the. This is the one I reconditioned a few years ago with the supposedly Ford red. I don't know if you can really see the difference in the colour, to be honest. I'll try and Yeah, you can see there in the light. You see how that's more like a cherry red, more like a deeper red, and that's got more. That's race red. That's Ford race red, and then this should be the OEM red. So they're not the same colour. So obviously, this is why I've painted. This is why I've painted. That's the caliper, the carrier to go with my caliper, because that would just get the old OCD backed up. Right, so if you look here on the back, on the OEM, you've got where the bolts go in, where I think they're 15mm bolts. Well, it's a 15mm, and then if you look on the Pumaspeed, this section here is like, it's just extended down. So this allows now, because this is dropped down, this allows you to put the bigger disc over. Got a bit of air in there, I think. 1 second. Yeah. So that's the difference. It's just this section. It's a bit like the ST170. The ST170 calipers on the rear, you can put the bigger discs on the rear. It's the same. It's basically the same principle. So what I'm going to do is a bit of it. See, this is the other thing to make sure you've got no air in these pins. I know sometimes you can just get a, peel it back. That's it. Yeah, make sure you've got no air in there, because then it won't function properly. Right, so what I'm going to do is, now, a common mistake with these calipers is, with these pads, these brake pads, right, you've got an inboard pad, which is this side, and then you've got an outboard pad, which is this side, and so these don't go on any way you feel like putting them on. It won't work. What you can see here is on the you see these little nipples, these little here. If you put that on the inboard, the piston, when the piston presses out, it will hit that. It'll hit these little studs, and then the piston won't be flush, if you know what I mean. It won't push pressure evenly. And it's the same here. So you can see here, this is where the piston will go here. So these studs are now moved out. I don't know what the purpose for this is, why they do this. It must be a manufacturing thing. But this has to be, this is your outboard. Basically, that's your outboard pad. And I've seen people do that mistake many times. So what I'm going to do is, now these come with these shims. I've never seen these shims before on these EBCs. This must be a new addition. Well, saying that, it's been about 5 years since I've last used stock hardware, so I'm just going to put a bit of copper grease in these this little area here. Oh, no, bloody hell, that brush is wasted. Because rust will start here, inside this section here. You'll get rust, and then it'll cause rust jacking, which is basically what happened to my old pads. So just a bit of copper grease. You don't need to really lather the back. But it'll just give it a fighting chance against corrosion. Because usually what happens is you'll either run the pad down to the so it needs changing, or they'll just corrode, so you need to change them. Wipe my hand. Let's put the shim on. Yeah, I've never seen this idea before. Never seen these shims on these. It's quite tight, that. There we go. Let's get a bit of that copper grease off there. Looking horrible. Right, so you have your that is your inboard. So this is your outboard. Oh yeah, another thing to point out as well, when you're putting the hardware, because like Pumaspeed don't provide this hardware. You can buy this just on it. You can buy the hardware on eBay anyway, just from wherever. If you don't have any. Sometimes new brake pads do come with hardware, but I don't even think Ford sell this separately. You have to buy a new set of front pads. But now I don't know what the reason is, or if there's a reason for it. But these are actually different. These trying to get it in shot. So this hardware is actually different on both sides. So that side, if you look here, it's not as tall. And then if you look on this side, it's raised higher. Now I do know that I don't know particularly what the reason is. I don't know if it's something to do with I don't know how you mount the pads, but it goes on the lower side of the caliper, so the side that's closest to the ground. Right, oh, I nearly knocked you over then. Oh yeah, just this is a 17mm spanner. This is just what you'll use on the sliders. But what I've had to do is I've had to just, because it's just an old spanner this, I've had to get the angle grinder and just shave it down to make it a slim fit, because a normal spanner's too thick, and all that happens is when you close the gap, you just end up locking your spanner in. So I just had to modify that. Okay, so pads. This is your outboard with the two dots in the middle. Just be careful, you don't want to damage your paint. There we go. Oh, helps to put the pad the right way, doesn't it? Oh yeah, yeah. What I was saying is you don't need to grease in here. This is the whole purpose of this hardware. And you get calipers with these stainless steel sort of, well, like shims, I suppose. Yeah, you don't need to grease those. They will function perfectly without the grease. Right, I'll just grab the carrier. Right, this is the caliper. Oh, got my hands full here. So this is what I was saying about letting the paint cure. I was on about letting the paint cure, because all that happens is, sorry, just trying to get it all in shot. The weight of this cast caliper, because it's cast, it's heavy. If your paint's not dry, it'll just absorb the texture off this microfiber, and it just won't look very nice. Right, okay, so a bit more gloss on this actually. This isn't there. Right, so get my scissors. Where's my scissors? Just cut that off because that's going to get in the way. Now it'll go like, which way am I going now? Oh, bloody hell, what's my paint? What's your paint, son? Just slide it over. Again, I'm not a massive fan of putting copper grease on the piston. I mean, it's got this shim on it now, so that's probably why they've done it. Same with the so, yeah, just another thing as well. I will. All I like to do is just get a bit of lanyard. and then a brush, and then just brush this. Will just protect these. I mean, I have painted them, they have been painted, but it'll just protect these from rusting. I just don't see point, you know what I mean? You refurb all these, you refurb your stuff, and got a bit of red paint there. I'm gonna have to touch that in. Yeah, you know, stop it rusting. Makes, you know, all your hardware looks all bloody horrible. Yeah, it looks horrible. There we go. It's got a bit of a casualty. A bit of a funny bit there, I've always noticed that bit there. There we go. She's like new. I'm just gonna torque these while it's on the floor. Oops, I'm actually loosening it. Jesus Christ. Why are you inept to something? Jesus. Oh, that's it. There we got a click. There we go. So all the tools I'm going to be using for the install will be 11mm spanner, that's just for your bleeder, that's when you bleed the brakes. 17 for those, the sliders. Then your 13mm for the slider bolts. And then you'll need a 15mm, up to you, socket, spanner, whatever, for your actual, for the carrier bolts. Now, because service data tells you to replace your carrier bolts, right? Now you don't. I mean, obviously, if they're crusty and if they're really in bad condition, yeah, change them. You know, if you started cross-threading them and rounding them off. But I got these on the wire wheel and I've just painted them up. Like I say, once you got the spanner on, just get a bit of silver in a lid, touch it up, and it'll be fine. And they won't rust then. Use that technique for years. But all it's referring to when it says replace, the only reason why it's asking you to replace them is because once the thread lock or the Loctite has been applied and used, it's no longer, you know, doing its job. So reapply thread lock, and then you can reuse the bolt. The only bolts you want to not reuse is torque to yield bolts. So for example, like this bolt for the carrier is 110 Newton meters. If that was 110 and then say 90 degrees, that would be a torque to yield bolt, because what it's doing is it's stretching the bolt. And like I always see on the forums, people doing particular like shocks, the shock absorbers, which uses two torque to yield bolts. I think it's an 18mm nut and a 18mm bolt. Well, the hardware is 18mm. I don't know if the bolt, the thread is the width. This anyway. Yeah. So they often get snapped. It's because it's a torque to yield, and it's only really should be used once. I know people reuse them, but you know. Yes, so as long as you put your Loctite on your heat, yeah. So I just want to point out, just as I'm getting the wheel off here, yeah, I'm using 10mm spacers on my vehicle. You don't need spacers to run this application. It is literally standard, everything is standard, so, you know, standard setup, no spacers. It's just like using the original caliper. Yeah, so don't be confused thinking, oh, you might need a spacer. You don't. That's just something I wanted to point out. Yeah, let's get back on with it. Oh, busy bumblebee. Bloody bee. Big massive bee. This spanner's broke, isn't it? Not very good, this spanner. few clips there. Right, all fitted, yeah, all installed, no leaks. I've just gone round now, just double checked. I've just run it up and down the street. Obviously you've got that braking surface on the discs, plus the paint on the discs, you know, because they come painted. But no, even, I know it sounds daft, but like even just taking it down the street, it's weird because I'm used to the 6-pot calipers, and the 6 pots, the braking's a bit more linear. It's a bit more sort of like comes in, whereas the a bit like how, yeah, the stock setup is quite like all or nothing, if you know what I mean. It's quite sharp. It bites really quickly. But no, I mean, obviously I've not give it a good run, but no, that's pretty straightforward really. Changing it, just like your normal brake job. Yeah, no, I'm happy with the way it looks. I'll probably just get some pictures, put some pictures on the showing you it, you know, the disc. Obviously the paint, I've only taken a bit of paint off with the braking. Yeah, yeah, just a bit gutted about the having to take the 6 pots off, really. Having to change the 6 pots. Yeah, apart from that, all good, all good. Yeah, so it was only just like a basic guide, really. I've, you know, a few little things I like doing when I do brake jobs. Yeah. Right, I'll leave it there. I'll try not to make it a long one. I usually make videos about 9 hours long without realising it, but yeah, like I say, I'd recommend the product. I think it's really well priced. I think it's a really well priced item. You know, if that was all genuine Ford parts, it'd be like £1,000 plus, probably. Yeah, but no, it's good value for money. That. Yeah, it's just quite easy. You know, it's not. That's the only thing with the 6 pots and having big brakes. They're a little bit high maintenance. You know, I mean, you've got to do your checks every now and then, and like with mine have been on. Those 6 pots have been on about 5 years, and already the shot. You know what I mean? Seals have gone in them. All the pistons are coming out at different times. Yeah, bloody. Yeah, bit annoying, really. And then you can't get the parts for them anymore. Can't get the pads. Yeah, so is what it is, isn't it? Really. Right. If I do any driving, I'll do an update and just how it feels. But you know, it's going to be a big improvement over the standard 280 disc. Just to give you a guide, if I can sort of give anything like a sort of a reference, when I had my Mark 6 150 ST Fiesta, I put them on Deo ST220 calipers on, and they were a 300mm disc. So these are a 302, so it was only, you know, it's barely negligible in it. But no, that to me made a massive difference from the standard caliper and the 280. Yeah. But no, that's more than sufficient for an ST. More than sufficient. Right, I will leave it there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you later.